From Gyutaro's desperation to protect his sister to Akaza's will to save his father's life, Demon Slayer is full of powerful and heartfelt examples of how anime is much more than entertainment. In fact, Demon Slayer teaches us that our lives have purpose, and if you stick around, I'll show you exactly why. No matter how hard life is on these characters, they show us time and time again that there's always something worth fighting for, and we're never alone if we stick together for the best and worst of times. Spoiler alert, I'll be covering material that is not on par with the ongoing anime series. If you want to avoid any spoilers, please tune off for now. First, the character Tamayo has a rare characteristic in the world of Demon Slayer. Despite being a demon, she chose to side with the humans and made it her life's goal to eradicate Muzan once and for all. To understand this change of heart, we need to delve deeper into her past. She was a married woman with children in her previous life, but unfortunately she fell ill with a life-ending disease. However, Muzan ended up saving Tamayo on the brink of death by turning her into a demon, and as a result, she devoured her own family. From that day onwards, she lived with only regret and shame. Years passed until Yoriichi almost killed Muzan, and it was then that Tamayo decided to help humanity in every way possible to eliminate Muzan. On the surface level, this may not be that big of a deal, but it presents a substantial amount of conviction. It is not easy to oppose your oppressor and regain your way on the right path once you have faltered. Most of us have taken the wrong way now and then too, and it takes courage to climb back from it. This lesson in the early episodes of Demon Slayer encourages the audience to stand up for the right thing and actively make changes in our own lives for the better. There is no excuse to indulge in wrongdoing. You can always repent by helping others. That is precisely what Tamayo did, as she dedicated her entire life to helping all those in need. Her shame and regret ended up motivating her to take action. This makes her pretty awesome, to say the least. The connection between siblings is a common theme in the anime, and the siblings Daki and Gyuutaro embody that connection beautifully. The Demon Slayer community was left teary-eyed when Daki and Gyutaro's backstory aired. It was such a tragic watch and rendered us all speechless. While Gyutaro was bullied and tormented for his ugly physical appearance, his gorgeous and elegant sister was the talk of the town. Yet, this didn't stop them from cherishing each other beyond measure. Although their lives were miserable, they made the most of it by being inseparable. Gyutaro essentially committed his life to protecting Daki. It was as if he lived just to be there for her. However, unforeseeably, Daki was burned alive, and Gyutaro, in his broken state, clung to her for a long time until he was also nearing death. This goes on to show just how much they loved each other. Sometimes we take our siblings for granted. This backstory was an eye-opener. You never know when your loved ones are going to be taken away from you, and maybe you won't even have a chance to say goodbye. Their connection teaches us always to adore our siblings and make the most of our lives with them. We should stick by them during times of need. This is the lesson that this bittersweet backstory entails. Perhaps one of our life's purposes is to provide solace for our brother or sister when they need it the most. Of course, we may fight with our siblings all the time, and no relationship between is perfect. Yet, it doesn't hurt to try. Even Gyutaro and Daki sometimes had to make amends. Anyhow, these struggles are not only limited to the demons. Numerous Hashiras and the main character went through a lot of growing up as well. Sadly, Obanai Iguro's past is gut-wrenching. He was neglected as a child since his family were lunatics who worshipped the snake demon. Initially, Obanai was set up to be sacrificed to the snake demon, but he had other plans. As soon as the opportunity arose, he escaped the impending doom that awaited him. Due to that incident, his family was mercilessly killed by the snake demon. Although this was very tragic for Obanai, he still persevered and created his own means to living for himself. I am fond of this backstory as it shows that no matter how difficult the future seems, you can always create your own destiny. Your future is in your hands, and you pave the way for it by trying your best in the present. That is what Demon Slayer is all about. Obanai could have given up if he wanted to, but he ultimately persisted as hard as he could, and only then did he succeed as far as becoming a Hashira. He outstandingly defied his gruesome fate, and you have the capability to do the same. What's important is to take your time and look for the light in your own life, no matter how caged you may feel. Another Demon Slayer, Gyome Himejima, highlights the notion of never giving up. Long before becoming a Hashira, Gyome undertook several orphans in his temple to give them refuge. However, in the Veil of the Night, his temple was attacked by a demon. Almost all the orphans deserted him due to his blindness. They weren't able to survive, and Gyome got the blame for their unfortunate deaths, even though he was the one who killed the demon. The only orphan who lived was the one who thoroughly obeyed Gyome's orders. Before Gyome could be arrested for murder, the Demon Slayer Corps gladly accepted him for his heroism. Interestingly, as powerful as Gyome was, he did not have everyone's complete faith. Such is life. You will never be able to please everyone. You will always have people who doubt you. What matters more is that the right people believe in you. In the case of Gyomei, he would have been imprisoned had it not been for the Demon Slayer core, who recognized his talent and bravery. Someone might make you feel like you are nothing, but as it shows, you have a lot more in life than people say. You know yourself better than anyone else. Life is quite serene once you stop people's negativity from controlling you. While most of these characters come with self-explanatory life lessons, some are a lot more complex. Rui is one of those characters with tragedy written all over his face. From the beginning, his life was burdensome since his sickness prevented him from having a normal childhood. As a last-ditch attempt to cure himself, he made a deal with Muzan and became a demon. However, his desire remained insatiable as he now had to feed on human beings and ended up eating his own parents. Having no one by his side anymore, loneliness ate him up and he was forced to recruit other demons for his play family. Rui asked for too much and was left with too little. We human beings are guilty of this trait as well. As soon as we get what we've always wanted, ungratefully we start looking for more. Overfilling our cups leads us to our demise. Instead of being overly ambitious, we should be grateful for everything good in our lives, no matter how small. There is no rush. You can go at your own pace and discover what makes you happy. Akaza's life, in my opinion, is arguably the saddest of them all. Known as Hakuji in his past life, Akaza grew up engulfed in poverty. To make things worse, his father was sick, and Akaza had to pay for his medicine. Since there were no other alternatives, he had to resort to theft, which came at the hefty price of an abundance of abuse. As a result, his father ended his own life, considering himself a burden on Akaza, who had nowhere to go afterward. Luckily, a dojo owner called Keizo took in Akaza and taught him how to fight. There, Akaza met Keizo's daughter, Koyuki, and they both developed a liking for each other. As fate would have it, a rival dojo ended up poisoning both the father and the daughter due to a feud. This drove Akaza into an unfathomable rage as he laid waste to the entire rival dojo in revenge. This caught Muzan's eye, who granted him the power of a demon, and Akaza had no reason to deny it as he felt he had nothing left. Simply recalling this backstory sends shivers down my spine. Nobody deserves to go through such a horrible experience in life. Despite the staggering circumstances, Akaza tried his best to bring home medicine for his father. Many of us are not privileged, and it takes an absurd amount of strength to make a living for our family. He was prepared to become a criminal if it meant saving his father's life. That zeal and resolve are commendable, and we can take inspiration from it. Our loved ones deserve a good life, and it is our job to ensure that it becomes a reality, without turning to crime, of course. Moreover, his story tells us that fate is unpredictable, and we should enjoy our lives while we can. Instead of fretting about what's to come, we should live in the moment and surround ourselves with loved ones. The good times don't last forever, but neither do the bad times, so make the most out of your life so that you don't live with regrets for the rest of it. Personally, at one point in my own life, I shared a similar experience with Akaza. I experienced a few rough patches of verbal and physical abuse. I felt trapped and alone, unable to openly express my stress or worries. This caused me to become insecure and question my value or purpose in life. I would always worry about what others think of me and how I could avoid being hurt again. But I think, much like this anime, it teaches us that it's okay to be who we are. If there are any tough situations in our lives, we should first figure out how we can change that. No matter how small the room we feel trapped in is, there is always a way out. Acknowledging our challenges, figuring out a solution, and opening up to others benefits our human development. And that is all, my friends. Please let me know about your own personal motivations and life aspirations in the comments below. I make it a point to read each and every one of them. Acknowledging negativity is very important, but embracing positivity is vital in our lives, and we must ensure that we spread it to every human being. I hope to see you guys again in the next video. Take care.